So I'm sitting here thinking, they talk about black holes and how when you fall into a black hole, right at the event horizon, your frequency gets stretched out to infinity because a black hole is strong enough, has gravitational force strong enough, it sucks light in. Now, I'm thinking about this, right, in terms of how they talk about the red shift and the blue shift. And I feel that I feel that gravity should affect light. And I know it does. I know it bends light. I know you see like the same image from both sides around the sun and stuff like that. But if if a black hole affects light, all gravity should affect light. So you should have added extra frequency as light falls into a gravity well. In the same way that light trying to escape a gravity well will have its frequency stretched out and they'll have redshift. But it's also the idea that, it would make sense that anytime you have gravity, you have redshift or ultraviolet shift. Gravity should affect light and it should stretch it out and it should compress it and it should stretch it out. And it makes sense because, like anytime you experience gravity, it's like you're accelerating. And light should also experience that. In a gravity well, light emanating from a gravity well should have redshift because it is essentially accelerating towards the object it's emanating from, or at least the surface. And as it's falling into a gravity well, it should have blue shift, at least for an object that is stationary on on top of the gravity well. And it goes back to the original idea that, anything that isn't a gravity well is essentially accelerating away from everything else. But it's like you get closer and closer to that gravity well, and you end up getting closer and closer to the thing that's creating it, rather than further away from everything else. Which, honestly, this is why I want to explain the expansion of the universe. It's as if black holes are falling away from everything too quickly for its gravity to matter, or it's the the objects are too far away from the black hole that is falling away from them faster than it's attracting them. It also goes back to the idea that anything that exists at a finite point or close to zero would have negative, positive, and neutral values all at the same time just because it's just mathematically inclined to do so. I wonder how much that has to do with it. And always treat light emanating from a gravity source or gravity well as accelerating. It's as if, let's say, an object is emanating light in your direction from way out there. Light is emanating from an object in your direction from way out there. That object has some gravity. That gravity should affect the light emanating towards you and should cause it to redshift. Any gravity. Any gravity at all. still don't understand Lorentz. Feel like there's no starting position. And I just don't understand this thought experiment. Or how they explain this thought experiment, because I never heard them explain it. Two objects in a vacuum exist. They're moving in relation to each other. Which one is stationary? Who is to say what is moving and what is not moving? One has to be moving slower in time than the other one, in actual time. I give a hoot about what they observe. Which one is it? In which case, you look at the universe and you see the bodies in the universe are relatively stationary to each other. I don't think they know what's going on. I'm going to think about it some more.